a couple of weeks ago, it was an episode with Kristen and Thomas. We're getting ready for dinner, and supposedly I was invited to go to dinner at their house. Never happened. I was never invited to go to their house for dinner. Thomas and I had talked about having dinner together, but it was never at their house. We had scheduled a time to go. I had a baseball game, which I did go to, and we made arrangements to have dinner at another time. So for them to go on and portray that I was supposed to come over and I skipped it and went to the baseball game instead of coming over to try to handle a family situation or family matter is ridiculous. I was never invited in the first place.
What is going on, guys? I'm Jaye the Black. I'm here with another video. Shout out to everybody that's here. I want to speak on Byron Scott and the issues that he is dealing with his son. If you don't know who Byron Scott is, he's an ex-NBA player, NBA coach. As a matter of fact, I produced a video about him settling a divorce with his wife, with his ex-wife, who coincidentally is the mother of his, well, I would say of his stepson, because when they got together, you know, he was already there in the picture, so to speak. And he's been raising him ever since. And that's what makes this situation even more crazy. Because I did a video last year about him, you know, and his divorce, and now he's with a new woman, CC Gutierrez, who he's engaged to. He hasn't married her yet, but he's engaged to her. And they're on this reality show, Basketball Wives, right? It's a show where mostly none of the women are with basketball players. The only one that's really there with a basketball player, as far as in a relationship, whether they be engaged, married, or whatnot, is basically CC Gutierrez. Now, I will say this, though. I didn't see very much of this particular season. I did watch some of it just because Byron was going to be on the show, and I was interested to see how he would mesh, him and his fiance would mesh with the other people on the show. Okay. And I can just already tell he didn't fit the show. She didn't fit the show. And you can tell because she's not going to be coming back. They basically pushed her around on that show. You know, now, from what I understand, recently she started to stand up for herself to the female LYlNG who tried to fight her. The same LYlNG who was crying crocodile tears on TV when, you know, Ocho Cinco headbutted her. She did that media tour, crying crocodile. Yeah, that same one now wants to go fight people. You know, this is why I tell y'all, these females be trying to play mind games in these situations. But anyway, now also gonna preface this. This video is specifically about Byron Scott and his stepson that he's pretty much raised most of his life. Now, his son's biological father is an actor, comedian by the name of TK Carter. I'm pretty sure you've seen him, black comedian. I've seen him in various television shows and things of that nature, so I know who he is. They do have a resemblance, even though Thomas Scott is a little lighter, but still there's some resemblance there. You know, he also, Thomas Scott, he looks like his mother too, you know. And speaking of his mother real quick, I'm gonna basically speak on why that particular separation, I think, played a part into why their relationship, not only from the show, has disintegrated, but the fact that, you know, Thomas Scott, you know, basically has been raised by Byron, right? And Byron and his mother were married for a long time, but now Byron has moved on to a new woman, okay, that he's planning on marrying and that he brought on the show. And from the show, Byron Scott's, you know, stepson's wife and You know, Byron's wife Cece, Byron's fiance Cece were cool with each other until the camera started rolling. Now, at the beginning of the video, I'm probably gonna have a clip up from a video that he put on Instagram. I'm also gonna read some of this from this article from Yahoo, just to give you some more context of what's going on. So, according to this article from Yahoo, NBA legend Byron Scott is calling out his son and Basketball Wives star Kristen Scott for making him look bad on the show. Scott posted a video on social media captioned, "This is for the Basketball Wives viewers. Just want to set it straight." The NBA star is engaged to Basketball Wives star Cece Gutierrez. Byron's son, Thomas Scott, is married to Kristen, who is also a cast member. The reality show has focused on Byron and Thomas' strained relationship. In a recent episode, Thomas and Kristen were shown making dinner and waiting for Byron to join them. The episode made it appear Byron blew off the dinner, which was set up to start fixing their problems. Byron is clearly not pleased with the episode and calling it an outright lie. He starts his video, "Hey guys, this is Byron Scott. I want to say this to all Basketball Wives fans out there who watch the show on a weekly basis." He claims to have never been invited to the dinner. Byron accuses the two of lying about him agreeing to show up. Byron says he had talked to Thomas about having dinner, but never at the home. He says no specific date and time had been decided on. Byron calls the entire situation ridiculous. He took particular issue with Kristen, saying she made the family problems worse. Kristen and Cece have fought throughout the season. The family drama comes amid Basketball Wives star LYlNG considering taking out a restraining order against her co-star OG following an alleged reunion meltdown. So pretty much the tension has been brewing on the show to the point to where they put together this dinner to reconcile things, to work on things. But what you got to understand with reality TV, and this is what Byron didn't understand. You see, Byron is doing this for Cece because he really loves Cece. I mean, this guy is on social media defending Cece whenever he feels she needs to be defended. And that just shows you that this guy is all in on this woman. Now, there's talk that she, has some nice plastic tatas or fake tatas, whatever. And, it alters the look a little bit, she's a little busty, but that may not be all why he's, with her, but be that as it may. He's in love with her, and he's willing to make a fool of himself. And again, I agree with Byron being upset by his portrayal on the show. But again, he seems very naive. Even Cece seems very naive to this show. They're going to look for any reason to make you look bad. And this is why it's a good thing that Byron and Cece will no longer be on the show, because it's not a good look, Byron. You are an accomplished NBA player. You are a head coach. You should be enjoying this time in your life. You went through a very bitter divorce. You've settled it. And now you have moved on to a woman that you clearly are in love with. He is defending her on social media. He's making videos, not only to defend himself and how he feels about his son, but I think he's doing it in a way to take the heat off of, his wife Cece, who again was pushed around on the show.
I was invited to go to dinner.
And he has a stepdaughter that I think, the people are saying that she's been trying to help them reconcile. I think this particular female, Kristen, who is the wife of his stepson, I think she loves the cameras, and she's trying to make sure she's on the show another year more than she's trying to help them reconcile. But I think that Byron is at an age where his son is grown, and it's not even his son. Even though he treats him like he's a son, I think he feels like, he's a grown man. Things will get worked out eventually. But I don't think that the guy will purposely, not go and speak to his son just because. Now, people are saying that he didn't go because his wife wasn't invited. Let me just say this. If that was the case, Byron should have told his son, listen, if my fiance isn't if she isn't invited, then I'm not going. Byron never said that, because I believe Byron wasn't invited. I think that they were trying to put together a schedule, and I think that VH1 or the people involved in the show may have scheduled it to the point to where maybe Kristen and Thomas thought that Byron would be there because that's what they were told, and Byron did not know that this was going on. This is what reality TV does. And you got people who go along with this because they want a reality TV check. They want to be on TV every year. So they're willing to go through the humiliation of being on these reality shows and the things that you have to do in order to, become a fixture on these shows. You basically have to not only put yourself out there and make a fool of yourself, you have to basically put your life out there, and you have to act in ways that go against your character. I think Byron Scott is a principled person. You can tell in his video, even though he was clearly upset, he handled it in the most respectful way he could, because that's his personality. This isn't him. Like, he's not a reality TV guy, but he did it for his fiance. And that is the problem with a lot of guys. And that's the problem I had with Byron, is that he did this for his fiance because she wants to be a celebrity. She wants to be a star, and she didn't understand what she was getting into. Kristen, his son or stepson's wife, she understands it, and she's for it. She's for ruining relationships between father and son in order to advance her, reality TV longevity, even though you could be making a situation worse than it needs to be. I think Thomas needs to pull his wife to the side and say, listen, I got this. He's a grown man. We're not talking about no kid, no teenager. We're talking about a grown man. He needs to go and talk to his father and really communicate those things to him. Again, I haven't seen the whole season. Only seen a little bit of the beginning, again, because I want to see how Byron would mesh. I know people who may watch this video have probably seen the whole season, so there's certain things that aren't in there. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to put in the comment section, but pretty much everything I have, speaking of, is on point. But anyway, when I look at black men and I look at how, in our society nowadays, there aren't a lot of young boys who are growing up with father figures because they're growing up in single parent households. And the fact that Byron Scott, who ended up marrying a woman who again was with a guy who was already in the industry, and he married her and took in her and a son as his own, gave him his last name, and TK apparently didn't know of this and didn't really approve of it, but that, again, that's their business. It's whatever. But I'm speaking on Byron Scott and the fact that I truly believe that he cares about his son. I'm gonna stop saying stepson because pretty much that's his son. I think he cares about him. I think he wants to do what's right by him, but he understands that he is a man, and he's not going to sit there and, run behind a grown man. Him and his son will work things out. I think that's why he put the video out. I think that if you ask anybody who's been around Byron, they're going to say he's a classy guy. I don't think a lot of people have any real bad words to say about him. Maybe his ex-wife. That's why I think Byron does not need to be on reality TV. I understand Byron is out of work, and I don't know if he has a ton of income coming in. I don't think the reality TV checks was really worth it. I think that he did that mostly for his wife, but going to his Insta, I think he actually likes social media. I mean, the guy's posting all types of things. I mean, but again, that's different from when you're followed around by cameras and they're only editing the episodes to where it only shows the drama, And I think that's incredibly, I think it's incredibly awkward and sad that this guy, you know, at his age, who seemed like he's happy with the woman he's with. And I said in the video that I did, over a year ago with Byron and his divorce, I said the guy seemed like he's genuinely happy with Cece, you know, and I think he did this for her. And I think this is a lesson learned. And I hope him and his son are able to get on the same path. I think once, you know, Byron is off reality TV, I think they will be able to have a better relationship with each other.